Alright, you guys, I have an amazing liquor here. Okay, this is the Greenwood Whiskey. It is an Atlanta-based, Black-owned whiskey that represents the community, entrepreneurship, excellence, and success. Greenwood Whiskey breaks good whiskey. Now, I know y'all want to know who this man is behind me. This fine, fly guy behind me. Because you gotta, when the man looking good and has that posture, you gotta let him know that. And KG, one of the co-founders of Greenwood Whiskey, is here with us today, looking flyer than ever. And not only that, the fact that he has so much brain power, so many gems to give us on how they came up with this brand, how they decided to collaborate and just make this one of the top Black-owned whiskeys in the market. Let's get it, let's go. We gotta go talk to KG, let's go. So I had to get from behind the bar and, you know, cheers it up with you.
Absolutely.
Okay,
cheers.
Now we are going to taste this drink. Let's see, now I made it like how y'all told me to make it. I did it just like the instructions said. Okay. So you gonna let me know, am I Greenwood Whiskey mixologist approved?
Absolutely.
Let's go.
I'm gonna say the truth too, man.
Please do. It's y'all ingredients.
What? This is Greenwood certified.
Oh, cheers to that.
Greenwood certified. No higher level than that.
This is so, it's really a holiday drink. Now, this is a guy's drink for sure. So it also has like, can we really say it's a difference between a girl's and a guy's drink? We can't really say that. It's a universal drink, but you know, sometimes guys like that punch in the drink. So I would say this gives that punch, but it's also very mellow. And it's a sweetness in it, but it reminds me of an apple crisp, like a candy apple. And then the bitters. Now a lot of people ask, like, what is bitter? So we put just a few dashes of bitters on top of it. Bitters give you like a sharp, pungent flavor. You're gonna taste like roots, herbs, fruits, you know. So I like this. This is a twist on the old fashioned. It's called the Caramel Apple Old Fashioned.
Absolutely.
So it works great in our holiday cocktails.
Yep.
Yes.
All your holiday parties, you can make this, right? And like you said, it's something that, you know, guys will drink an old fashioned, and as well as women, like when they want to try something, a sophisticated cocktail, they have an opportunity to try something a little bit different from maybe more sugary drink that they drink too.
Exactly. Yeah, because who want to keep drinking all these sugary drinks when you're trying to stay fine? Okay.
Absolutely.
So, you know, it's funny that you say that. That's another thing. A lot of people always get caught up in making drinks with like 4, 5, 6 ingredients. Like, you know, auntie at the house want to make hunch punch. She putting this in it, this in it, this in it. When sometimes the best tasting cocktails are like a 2-3 recipe drink. And literally all we had in here was the Greenwood Whiskey Caramel. Now, I've never even had a caramel whiskey before.
Yeah.
Okay, apple cider and 2 dashes of bitter.
Yeah, no, I mean, it came out great, right? Like for us, sometimes simple is better. Yeah. So you don't want to necessarily overcomplicate, especially your cocktail. You want to have something that's easy for you to make for when you entertain, and you know, when you go out and order a drink out, you make it easy on your mixologist, right?
Exactly.
Something simple, especially when the juice is good. So when the juice is good, you don't need all the extra stuff on there, right? And this is good juice.
So what I wanted to ask, how did you guys, and you are a co-owner,
Yeah, so I'm the co-founder and CEO of Greenwood Whiskey.
Okay.
All right.
And what made you guys pick whiskey?
So it's an interesting thing. We started drinking whiskey at the cigar bar, right? So I picked up a cigar habit. Yeah. And which turned into like what goes great with cigars, you know, whiskey. So early on I wasn't exposed to it. I think like many people, you know, start off, I was drinking a lot of other things, experimenting with a lot of different stuff. But then once I got exposed to whiskey, I fell in love with it, really? Right? So it was something that we were naturally drinking. And there was a misconception that, hey, like black people don't drink whiskey. And that I say misconception because that's exactly what it was.
Exactly.
Like, because I'm all around the city, you know, in Atlanta, at cigar bars and so forth, and I see nothing but us drinking whiskey. But when I looked behind the bar, I realized there wasn't a whiskey brand that spoke to me as a consumer, right? Yeah. You know, there's a lot of other brands, but none that spoke to me that I could relate to. So we had a couple options. It was like, yo, I can complain about it, like, yo, this is not happening, or I could do something about it. And we move in the space of action. So it was like, all right, we're gonna do something about it. Forget all the complaining. Why not us? You know, why don't we start something to fulfill the gap? Because there is a gap there.
Yeah.
So that was the energy behind it. You know, and additionally, I like to drink.
Me too. Cheers.
Yeah.
That's good. Let's just have one more sip.
Exactly.
I love to drink.
Because this is good. So this isn't just like for the camera. We drinking for real.
We drinking for real. And that's important. That's important for my audience to know, my cocktail seekers. Look, when I have these cocktails, I'm only drinking what I like anyways. I'm giving people chances, but I got to know a little bit background. And I always knew Greenwood Whiskey was a solid premium whiskey. So I had to have you guys on our series, and y'all did not unimpressed. Okay, it's hit.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Appreciate that.
Now, with a market being so saturated, and we can say any industry. Now, you know, my platform, we love to drink cocktails, but we also love to make sure people's pockets, people's money is right, they finances are together, making sure that they're able to dream big, and whatever goals and things that they have in mind, they're able to, you know, make it happen.
Yeah.
So for you and your partner to be black guys from Atlanta, Georgia, went to Lovejoy High School, and y'all said, yo, okay, shout out to Clayco. You guys are like, we are about to get in the whiskey space. We don't care about the competition. We don't care about who's on the shelf. We are about to create this brand and just dominate. So first, like, where did y'all get the confidence for doing that? And in a saturated industry, how do you outperform over the rest?
Yeah, I think like that's a good question, right? Like the confidence comes from past experiences, right? Like when you've done other things in the past and have been successful, regardless of the field, you have certain level of energy and persistence that you know, like, yo, I can if I've done this, I can do something else, right? Because it's very unique. Because in the space that we're in, I haven't seen any black-owned like whiskey brands at the time that was successful. That any black-owned liquor brand didn't have a celebrity associated with it. Like, yo, me and my people, we not celebrities, we regular guys. They got a dream that dream big. But we had to move past dreaming though, because it takes execution, it takes moving your feet, it takes action, right? Because you can manifest everything you want, but if you don't move on it, then nothing happens. So for us, it was like, why not us? We're confident enough to give it a try because we've been successful at other things. Like all of us came from a successful background doing something else, but just not the beverage industry. So with that being said, it's still hard, but that doesn't stop us, right? Because with us, it's like a mind frame, a mindset of being consistent. Like we be relentlessly consistent. Like one of my favorite stories, I was in the insurance business. I had an insurance agency years ago. And when I first got into the insurance business, I'm a young dude and I was expecting results like right now.
Yeah.
I want it now. It's like, yo, what am I doing? I'm out here, I'm marketing, I'm working, I'm doing this. And it just wasn't happening. So one of the execs sat down with me and they told me a story. They said, hey, have you ever heard of the Chinese bamboo tree? And I don't know the time. He was like, oh, the Chinese bamboo tree, what are you talking about? I had no idea what that was. So how they explain is that the Chinese bamboo tree, you plant it and then you have to water it every day.
Oh, okay.
Every day you're watering it for 5 years, but it never breaks the soil. So for 5 years, you're not seeing anything, but the bamboo tree, the roots are growing deep into the ground over that time frame. So at year 5, it grows 50 feet in 2 weeks. And what you're doing is that you're building that foundation. So that was a perfect analogy for business. Because you're gonna be in business, you're gonna be working hard, you're gonna be busting your ass, and it looks like nothing is happening.
Right.
And then that switch happens. Because you put in all the work, and then you look like an overnight success, right? Because the work has been put in. So for us, we came into it like the work has to be put in. And we're not scared of hard work. Because like one of the things I say all the time to the team is that I'm impatient with action and patient with results. So
say that one more time for the people in the back.
People in the back.
Or the people that's a little tipsy that
right?
Here.
And for real, impatient with action and patient with results, right? So we gotta have action. We gotta move every day.
Yeah.
And if you do that, it's universal law. Like the results gonna take care of themselves, but you gotta move every day. So I can be patient and wait for the results because I know the work that I put in, but you gotta put in the work.
Yeah.
And that's what we're about. And that's what we've been doing since our journey since 2020 till now. We've been just putting in the work. And it's been paying off. We didn't look at the clock. We just worked. And all of it has been paying off. We got a tremendous amount of support from the community and everybody who tastes it.
It's definitely paying off. The fact that, I mean, when I thought about doing this series and I thought about a whiskey brand, the first thing that came to mind was you all. I think I met you, it was some event off Auburn or Edgewood Avenue at one of the clubs. I'm not sure if they're still open. What was it, Social House or something like that? Yes. Yeah. And you was out there doing it. You was out there hunting for your food, because that's what us entrepreneurs do. We hunt for our food every day, and you introduce yourself like, hey, this is my brand. And I mean, just the confidence and the passion and the fact that I'm seeing you guys talking about whiskey, I was like, oh, I'm sold. And you guys have a space in my head for sure, so I had to reach out. So another thing that I want to talk about is a lot of people don't understand you don't have to do this alone. Yeah. Collaboration over competition is so important, and being able to have someone that has the same goals as you and maybe different ways of getting there, but there's like a compromise in it. So you have a partner.
Yeah.
How is that? Like just being in a partnership, working together, finding results when, if there are any button heads, and if there is some, how do you just go past that for the bigger picture? Like, what does that look like?
And I have several partners, right?
Okay.
So, but like I understood that like if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. So with that understanding, I understood. Like I've been a serial entrepreneur. I've done other things by myself with mixed results, and I understand the value of a team. So that was kind of the emphasis behind us naming the brand Greenwood, right? This is about the Greenwood community, Black Wall Street in 1906, largest concentration of Black-owned businesses in the United States. And it's about them working together, right? They had everything, doctor's offices, movie theater, lawyers, pharmacies, barbershops, life insurance companies, you name it. But it was about that group economics and working together. So with us, we made a decision that, hey, we're gonna bring a group of us together, we're gonna work together with a singular goal to be successful, and we're gonna make that happen. So of course, with that comes along, we're not gonna see eye to eye. Like I got a bunch of alpha dudes on the team. Like, yo, we're not gonna see eye to eye. Yeah. But as long as we understand that our heart is in the right place, that's something you can manage and be like, okay, it may not do it this way, but we all have the same end goal in mind.
And once once everybody knows that the end goal has to get done, it don't matter who do it, how we get there. Just know we in this together, and we have to get this goal done.
Yeah, and we gonna win.
And we all gonna win at the end.
We all stronger together, and that's not only for our organization. That's the message that we send across the industry. Right? Like I'm in tune with any other Black-owned brand, anybody doing anything, period, like we support it. Because we understand we started, ain't no competition. It's plenty out here. Oh, we walk in a space of abundance. There's enough money out here for everybody to eat. Yeah. Everybody, kids are good, Mm-hmm. But you gotta have that mindset to understand that. Like we don't move in a space of scarcity.
Baby, you dropping gems. Don't play with this man. Y'all hear this man? I love that. And the fact that, again, let me be clear about what he said. Greenwood comes from a prominent subdivision in the Black Wall Street. Yep. Right?
Yep. So it was in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1906. They created Black Wall Street, right?
Right.
Like, originally it was named Little Africa, but after that they called it Black Wall Street because it was There's over 600 businesses there.
Yeah.
And in the community, during a time frame when black people wasn't even looked at as citizens, they had no rights. Like this is in 1906, right?
Yeah.
So this type of community that was self-sufficient, it was something that was special, right? One of the things you talk about is like back then, like the black dollar circulated like 36 times in the community before it left.
Okay.
And we know like right now, the black dollar stays in the community like 2 hours before it leaves, right? But if we was able to do that then, we can do that now.
We absolutely can do that
right?
now.
But it's about, us understanding and knowing our history, and us coming together about group economics. And that's what we want to emphasize, that's what we want to show. So it's more than just whiskey. You want to show that we together, we can work together and can be successful.
Yeah.
And any dream that you chase, any dream that you got, do it now. Right?
Do it now. Don't wait later.
Yeah, like we talked about, like we a bunch of guys who, I went Clayton County school system. I grew up in the 80s. I came from the crack area. But with no experience, but I was able to create, a extremely successful whiskey brand.
Yes.
So if I could do that, anybody else could do anything else.
I love that. Okay, plot twist. We gotta juice it up a little bit.
Yeah.
What is probably the hardest thing when dealing with some of these club and restaurant owners when having your product in there?
Yeah.
No shade.
Nah.
But we gotta talk about
it's no shade at all, but it's challenging, right?
Yeah.
Because you gotta figure out, to me, how I look, I gotta figure out what they need. Like what makes them successful, what their wants, and their wants and needs gotta align with ours, and oftentimes it doesn't align. And especially when you a small, when you're a relatively new brand like us, and you're competing with brands that have been around since 1862, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Right? Like we bootstrap this, like we finance this out of our pocket, right? So it's different when there's larger brands who have the resources to just say, hey, I'll give you X, Y, and Z. For us, how our bank account works, I just can't give you I'm gonna come give you, the whole thing. So that's the challenge, and them understanding the value, because like they could bring a large brand that everybody heard of and that everybody just orders at the bar, right?
Right.
But it's a little more work for them to have a newer brand in there and say, hey, and for them to educate.
Yeah. And
oftentimes people take the path of least resistance. So it's like it's easy just to say, you want this, here you go. But it's a little more work to educate and say, hey, have you tried this? What about this?
I think the thing that resonated with me and helped me as a bartender when smaller brands would come in, talk to us, and actually teach us about your brand, tell us what goes in it and make us a cocktail.
Yeah.
And that way we're like, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember when KG came in here and he was telling me he was so excited and passionate about this. So now when my customer come, I'm like, hey, did you hear about Greenwood? Oh, you need to try Greenwood.
Yeah.
That's really how it goes. So putting in that footwork is so important, and I think connecting with the people that really selling your brand, which are the bartenders.
Absolutely.
That's your prime real estate.
That is.
It really is.
And what you're talking about is relationships, right?
Right.
Because like I say it all the time, like I am the CEO, but I'm out here, I'm in these streets. Like you see, I'm in these streets, right? So, but one of the differences is that a lot of other brands that they carry, they've never met the CEO of that brand. Never took the time to come in there and talk to them and ask them how their day was and make them a cocktail and talk to them about what's going on. That doesn't happen. That's one of the things that differentiates us, right? Because I'm out here, we doing that. The other CEO never came down here and talked to you. So, so we think that's value that we create in having that experience and creating those relationships.
Wow. Yeah. I love that, KG. Thank you so much for coming on here to the 12 Cocktails to Christmas. I mean, you gave us more than we could have ever expected. I love your passion behind it. I love that you came out here to build another relationship. We're going to keep rocking with you. We're going to push it. We're going to keep drinking these old fashions.
Sure.
Yes. And we're just going to keep teaching our community, others' community, whoever really needs to hear this about financial literacy and really about putting in the work. Having the vision, understanding the goal, and putting in the work. So I appreciate you so much, and y'all gonna go to the top.
Oh, thank you.
This I know.
I appreciate you having me. That means a whole lot. Just even to be here and share this space with you. I appreciate it.
Okay, then. Well, let's cheers to that.
Cheers.
All right, y'all. Now you know I have to give you some tipsy tips. I ain't forgot about it. I got you. It's coming, right after this. It's not a break or a commercial break or anything, but it's gonna be edited. It's gonna the tipsy tips.